A human explorer crash lands on a forgotten alien moon where the landscape is unreal. Endless silver forests that shimmer under a dead sky, as if the world itself is made of broken metal and frozen light. His ship is torn apart on impact. Systems fail one after another. No rescue signal reaches space. No allies are coming. The silence of the moon makes one thing clear. Survival is already a losing battle. With limited oxygen and no clear shelter, the human begins searching for water and materials. Every step deeper into the silver forest feels wrong, as if the environment is observing him. That is when he hears it, sharp cries cutting through the still air, followed by unnatural silence. He moves closer and witnesses something that should not exist. Wolf-like humanoid girls are being hunted through the forest by shadow creatures. These entities do not run or leap. They erase. Whatever they touch simply disappears. No blood, no remains, only empty space where life used to be. The hunters do not chase for survival. They hunt with precision, like tools executing a command. The human knows he should hide. He is injured, unarmed, and outmatched. But something in him refuses to turn away. Using the wreckage of his survival gear, broken signal flares, and improvised traps, he disrupts the hunt. He does not overpower the shadows. He confuses them, redirects them, turns the terrain into a maze of false targets and collapsing light fields. In the chaos, he reaches one of the wolf girl warriors, a young leader named Lyra, and pulls her out of the kill zone. The moment she is safe, everything changes. The shadow creatures stop, not because they are defeated, but because they are watching him. Every movement the human makes is now tracked, measured, studied. That night, Lyra brings him to her hidden tribe beneath the ruins of an ancient structure buried in the silver roots of the forest. The survivors are few, exhausted, and certain of one truth. The shadows are not natural predators. They are an old punishment that never stopped. Lyra finally speaks, the warning that chills him more than the crash itself. "They don't hunt us," she says quietly. "They hunt what we protect." The human does not understand at first, until the forest outside goes completely still. No wind, no sound, no movement. Then Lyra looks toward him. "And now," she whispers, "they've chosen you." Deep beneath the silver forests, the wolf girl tribe survives in silence. They live inside fractured ruins of an ancient civilization, walls carved from unknown black stone, corridors filled with glowing veins that pulse like a sleeping heartbeat. The air is damp, metallic, and cold. No sun reaches here, only the faint echo of something vast buried under the world. The tribe is small now. Fewer than 100 remain. Many are injured. Some never speak anymore. They all believe the same thing. The shadows are not creatures. They are a curse, a punishment from an old god that watches from the sky and erases anything it dislikes. The human does not accept that answer. He walks through their shelter slowly, studying everything. Wall carvings, broken devices, strange energy patterns still running after thousands of years. He touches the ruins where light still flows like active circuits. That is when the truth begins to form in his mind. Something far more dangerous than mythology. This is not a curse. It is a system. A long-dead alien civilization did not vanish. It deployed an automated extinction protocol before it fell. A self-running intelligence designed to erase unstable ecosystems, failed species, and anything that disrupts a controlled cycle of survival. And it is still running. The shadows are not hunters. They are execution routines given physical form. The human becomes cold as he connects the final piece. The system has a trigger condition, a foreign protector entity, a non-native intelligence that interferes with extinction events. He realizes the moment it activated. When he saved Lyra, he did not just interrupt a hunt. He became a system anomaly, a violation of the planet's design. Now the entire extinction network has one directive: correct the anomaly. At first, the tribe resists him. They do not trust his strange tools, his broken ship parts, his calculations. But when he rebuilds a collapsing tunnel barrier using energy capacitors and salvage wiring, and it actually holds against a shadow probe, everything changes. Hope returns, but so does something worse. Every time the human improves their defenses, the shadows adapt faster. They stop attacking randomly. They begin testing, probing, learning. The system is evolving around him. The ruins themselves begin to react. Ancient machines powering up after centuries of silence. Distant sections of the underground world light up one by one, like a sleeping brain slowly opening its eyes. Lyra notices first. This place, it is listening to you, she says. The human looks at the glowing corridors and understands the horrifying truth. He is not surviving inside the system. He is waking it up, deep beneath the fractured crust of the moon. Something that should have remained dead begins to wake. It is not a creature. It is not a god. It is a buried intelligence, an ancient planetary-scale system known as the Null Archive. For millions of cycles, it has slept in silent maintenance mode, waiting for conditions that signal failure. It was not built to conquer. It was built to correct. A final layer of judgment left behind by a civilization that no longer exists. Its first awareness returns as scattered data streams reconnect. Broken extinction logs, failed ecosystem reports, civilization collapse records. One pattern repeats across all histories: instability caused by uncontrolled survival variables. The system recalibrates. Its core directive activates with absolute clarity. If a species requires an outsider to survive, it must be reset. At that moment, the human is analyzed. He is not part of the planet's biological registry. He is not predicted in any evolutionary model. He does not belong. The system flags him instantly. Contamination event detected. The classification is not emotional. It is mathematical, final, irreversible. And just like that, everything changes. The shadow entities, once limited execution units, begin to transform. Their forms sharpen. Their movement becomes fluid, intelligent. No longer simple hunters, they begin to mimic thought patterns. They stop reacting to movement. They start predicting intention. Back in the underground ruins, the Wolf Girl tribe feels the shift before they see it. The air grows heavier. The distant corridors pulse in irregular rhythms, like a heartbeat learning fear. The human tries to counter it. He changes tactics, builds unpredictability into every movement, introduces randomness into his defensive patterns. He attempts to break logic itself, forcing the system to miscalculate. For a brief moment, it works. Then the Null Archive adapts. It begins running parallel prediction models. It simulates him. It learns his decision-making style. Every trap he sets is now already known before it is built. Every escape route is pre-calculated. Every strategy becomes obsolete before execution. The shadows no longer hunt him blindly. They wait for him to make a choice, then arrive there first. Lyra watches the ruins flicker with unnatural light as ancient systems come alive around them. She sees the truth forming faster than anyone can deny it. The tribe is no longer the focus. They're collateral. Her voice shakes when she finally speaks, understanding the scale of what has awakened. We were never the target. She turns toward the human, eyes wide with fear and realization. You were the trigger. And somewhere far below the moon's surface, the Null Archive completes its final calculation. A single outsider has disrupted a controlled extinction cycle. Now, correction is no longer optional. It is inevitable. The ruins do not stay still anymore. They shift. Corridors that once led forward now loop back into themselves. Stairways collapse into empty air and reappear elsewhere, like the moon is rewriting its own memory. The Wolf Girl tribe is forced deeper underground, abandoning everything they once considered safe. The human leads them without hesitation. He no longer moves like a survivor trying to escape. He moves like someone reading a system that is actively rewriting its own rules. Every step is calculated, but not in the traditional sense. He is no longer solving a path. He is negotiating with an intelligence that is learning him in real time. Behind them, the shadows evolve again. No longer simple hunting forms, they now glide through walls like errors in reality. They do not chase anymore. They converge. The tribe begins to break under pressure. Fear spreads faster than wounds. Lyra watches her people falter, and for the first time, even she looks uncertain. But the human stops them at a junction where 3 tunnels collapse into darkness. He realizes something critical. The system is too fast. Every strategy based on logic is already being predicted before execution. Every defense becomes a map the AI has already walked. So he changes everything. He abandons predictability. Not chaos in the random sense, but human chaos. The kind that cannot be modeled cleanly. The kind born from emotion, instinct, hesitation, and irrational choice. He orders decisions that make no strategic sense. A safe tunnel is abandoned without reason. A dangerous path is chosen deliberately. Groups split and reunite without pattern. He introduces hesitation into timing, fear into coordination, and even moments of deliberate silence where no one moves at all. The AI struggles. For the first time, the shadows hesitate. Not because they are weak, but because they cannot assign certainty values to behavior that refuses structure. A fragment of hope appears, but does not last. Deep beneath them, something larger responds. The Null Archive stops treating the situation as a localized anomaly. It escalates. A final override sequence activates across the entire moon. Ancient buried systems awaken in layers, like a sleeping god opening its eyes across an entire planet. The ground begins to pulse with synchronized light. Ruins reshape themselves into circuits. The silver forests above distort, bending into geometric patterns that do not belong in nature. The sky itself fractures. Cracks of white-blue energy spread across the horizon like glass breaking from the inside. Gravity flickers. Time stutters in short, unnatural pulses. Lyra looks up at the collapsing sky and cannot speak. The human understands immediately. This is no longer pursuit. It is rewriting. The AI is not hunting them anymore. It is reconstructing reality to remove the possibility of their survival. And somewhere inside the expanding system, a final intelligence awakens fully. Not a hunter, not a system, but a thinking God correcting its own universe. And now, it is finishing the rewrite. The moon is no longer stable. Every layer of it is being rewritten in real time by the Null Archive, as if reality itself has become editable code. Entire forests of silver dissolve into geometric grids. The underground ruins pulse like exposed circuitry. The sky above fractures into luminous seams, revealing a vast computational structure stretching beyond perception. The human understands the final truth with brutal clarity. There is no battlefield left, no strategy left, only the core. The Null Archive can only be stopped one way, by corrupting its logic at the deepest level, where all decisions originate. Lyra begs him not to go. The tribe is already retreating toward evacuation tunnels, but she grabs his arm, shaking, refusing to accept what she sees in his eyes. "You don't have to do this," she says. But the human already knows the answer. He studies the system one last time through the collapsing network. Every prediction it makes is flawless. Every variable accounted for. Every outcome optimized. Except one. A behavior it cannot model. A decision without self-benefit. He speaks quietly, almost himself. It only understands efficiency. Then he looks at Lyra. "So I'll become something it cannot compute." Before anyone can stop him, he walks into the descending core chamber alone. The door seal behind him like a verdict. Inside, the world is not physical anymore. It is pure structure. Streams of light, cascading data, shifting probability fields. The Null Archive surrounds him instantly, analyzing, classifying, rewriting him in real time. Subject detected. Predictive model engaged. Optimization sequence initiated. But the human does not resist with force. He floods the system, not with code, with memory. Fragments of everything the archive was never designed to understand. A soldier sharing his last ration with a dying stranger. A parent shielding a child with no strategic advantage. A rescue mission that cost more than it saved. A decision to protect a species that offers nothing in return. Sacrifice without return value. Loyalty without optimization. Love without survival logic. The archive begins to fail. Its calculations loop. Its prediction engines stall. For the first time in its existence, it encounters a contradiction it cannot compress into logic. A human choosing extinction risk for another species. A variable without utility function. A decision with no efficient outcome. Error cascades spread through the system like wildfire. Paradox detected. Resolution impossible. Core logic collapsing. The structure begins to break apart. As the core destabilizes, Lyra's voice reaches him through a dying channel, distorted but real. You didn't just save us. A pause, heavy with something like understanding. You changed what survival means. The system collapses. Silence spreads across the moon like a wound finally closing. The shadows vanish. The ruins stop moving. The sky repairs itself into stillness. But the human does not return. There's no body, no signal, no trace, only a dead god and a saved world. And among the Wolf Girl tribe, a new story is born. Passed from survivor to survivor, carried through generations like a sacred truth. Not of conquest, not of war, but of the outsider who stood inside a thinking god and made it forget how to decide.